me be clear and unambiguous. What Hamas did on the 7th of October was an act of terrorism. And it involved indiscriminate killing and extreme brutality. It was not a military operation targeted at military targets. And such acts cannot be justified by any rationale, any historical grievance, any religious belief, any context. Singapore must take a clear and unambiguous stand against terrorism in all circumstances. I was somewhat reassured when I listened to the leader of opposition's speech just now, where he now seems to have clarified that the attack that was launched by Hamas was not simply a military operation, but in fact deserves to be. I couldn't help noticing that both members of the Workers' Party were unable to use the word terrorism. I will leave that for you to clarify later on. But I must share with you that when I first saw your published statement, it left room for ambiguity. I think your speeches in this chamber today are more reassuring, but I would feel even better if you can clearly and unequivocally say indiscriminate attacks on civilians, on women, on children, and taking hostages is a clear and present act of terror. And say that for the sake of Singapore and Singaporeans.
I think Minister, correct me if I'm wrong, Minister was, for lack of a better word, curious why the word terrorist attack wasn't in our statement. The focus of our statement actually was to emphasize that whether it's Hamas, whether it's Israel, killing of non-combatants, women, children, by any country or organization deserves no less than absolute condemnation. I thought that would have made it clear that we were taking a very even-keeled approach to this matter. Second point, perhaps explaining why the use of that word terrorism wasn't activated so readily, but more a balanced approach in our statement was what we sought to put forward. Terrorist designation, IMCTD, and it is the authority of the designation of terrorist groups and groupings. The government relies on this committee to determine which organization is labeled accordingly. And then this is legislatively captured in the Terrorism Suppression of Financing Act 2002. My understanding, Hamas is not on that list. Is labeled accordingly.